Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast, where it's all about getting real around all things coaching.
And what we know for sure is that what got you here won't get you there.
You can't see the spinach in your own teeth.
And finally, hang on, because this one's really deep. Once you realize that you are the traffic, everything makes complete and unadulterated sense.
Hey, Kara,
Yeah.
why don't you tell us a story?
You want me to tell you a story?
I do.
All right. So, all right, everybody, we're talking about abundance. So it was interesting when we were doing a little bit of our research on our abundance for this month, I came across this story. So there was this guy who owned a farm, and he owned a small dairy farm. And he really worked really hard, and what he did was he got, an okay living for himself and his family. And one day, a bunch of guys been surveying some of the adjacent land, and they walked across the pasture. And the farmer kind of saw them as they were crossing the pasture, but he really didn't think that much about them. And then one of the guys, though, that he saw, stooped down, and the farmer watched him because they started studying like the slime and the scum that were alongside the land. And one of the guys scooped up some water in his hand, and he actually drank it. And then they put other water in a canteen. So the farmer was wondering, like, what's up? Like, why does anybody want that water? Even the cows don't like it. And they always pushed away that disgusting looking water and drank the clear water. So a couple of weeks later, one of the men who'd been studying the water called the farmer, and he offered the farmer a boatload of money for his farm. And the farmer thought, like, why does he want this? Why does he want to give me so much money? This is just a mediocre farm, and he's never going to get his investment back. But the farmer was just like, hey, great, I want the money. So he basically took the money and ran. And then he went and bought another farm. And the interesting thing was then now these new owners started setting up all this wacky kind of tower-like contraptions. And basically what happened was they found oil underneath the old dairy farmer's land. In a few years, the farm was like making millions and millions of dollars. And this farmer, right, who had another farm, he was working his ass off, and he stayed kind of like on the, not making boatloads of money, because the thing was he only knew how to scratch the surface and till the soil. So nature, in this case, supplied abundance for this guy, but he only saw the farm as a bunch of stones and dirt because he was never able to access that abundance. So, it's interesting about that, Jen. It's about sometimes we block abundance. So if you think about the farmer in this story of us, so many of us aren't even aware that the abundance is all around us because we're not looking for it, right? We're not looking, and we actually block our own abundance because of the silly things that we think. And then obviously, right, your thoughts are going to give you your feelings are going to give you your actions, and your actions are going to give you your results. And what happens, though, is that if you're thinking that you only just have this mediocre farm and you got to work your ass off metaphorically, you're just going to get stuck there. And the interesting thing is you're going to just end up at another farm doing the same damn thing when where's the oil fields that you're on?
I love it. It's interesting. So today it's all about abundance blockers and sort of how they show up. So you nailed it, Kara, right? One is how we see the world is going to impact whether or not we recognize the abundance around us. Because there is so much abundance around us.
Oh, big time, all the time. And I think the thing here is people who think, I almost feel like I was going to say this a little sideways, but people who think abundant thoughts are going to live abundant lives because then they're going to have those abundant feelings. Then they're going to have the abundant actions. And then bingo, you struck oil.
Makes me want to do the Beverly Hillbillies theme song.
All I was thinking is, oh, no, that was gold in them, our hills. Never mind. That's not oil. But gold, right? Same thing. You're going to strike gold. You're going to strike oil.
So it's true. So you have to look at your mindset to say, am I looking for abundance? What is below the surface? What is all around me? What is available to me? And it's interesting because normally when we ask people, what do you want more of in your life? Like, what do you want to have abundance around? It's usually comes down to a feeling, right? I want an abundance of love. I want an abundance of connection. Even the people who say, I want an abundance of financial security, there's a feeling that the financial security gives you. And so we have the ability to create our feelings anytime at the drop of a hat. And it all starts with our thoughts.
Your thoughts, right? I thought you were going to drop your hat.
I know, I am wearing a hat today, actually, and I pointed to my head. So I can understand why you thought that might be a hat throwdown. But it's true, right? So part of it is if we want to experience more of an abundance around a particular emotion, you have to look at your thoughts, because your thoughts create your feelings create your actions, and your actions create results. And I'll tell you one thing, Care, that I think really blocks people from having an abundance mindset. And it's really about creating confusion for themselves. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know what it looks like. And whenever we do the I don't knows of life, what we're doing is we're saying it's okay to do nothing. And so I just find that interesting when it comes to an abundance blocker mentality, how oftentimes when we create our own confusion, abundance seems to go away.
Right. So it's almost right now. So figuring out what are the ways that you can actually attract abundance in your life. So I think that one of the biggest things right off the bat is you got to be grateful, right? So really, really thinking about what are the things that you have to be grateful for? What are the things that you really, really want to be thankful about? And then because that's gonna, if you really think about those things, it shifts the way you feel. So if you start to think about being grateful and you can list all the things in your life you're grateful for, you just start to feel better.
Well, and sticking with the whole grateful, I think it's once we start to go with gratitude to all the things we do have, right? So we're usually grateful for the things that we experience or that we have. If you were to start to say, I'm grateful for my family, and then you start to name people one by one by one by one, you start to realize the abundance of family support that you have.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're grateful for your creativity and you highlight what that is in the last 2 days of how you've been creative, you realize there's really been an abundance of it. So the gratitude is about a reflection of something that you say, wow, my life is better because of this. That's going to get people to scratch below the surface each and every time to find the metaphor of oil. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So the question to you is, where are you only scratching the surface that you're not looking deeper at what's already available to you right now?
There's oil there. Go get it. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast. Craving more in-depth discussions? Check out the Get Real Inner Circle with our no BS in crowd of coaches.
Join live coaching discussions, breakdowns of coaching calls, and have some fun while you're at it.
You're going to want to go to kickstartyouredge.com/inner circle. It's time to get real.